So I just want to do a quick one on accessory work, or more specifically, kind of loaded mobility work. So there's lots of different ways we can improve our flexibility, let's say, and there's been a lot of talk around this in the sort of mobility, kind of the rehab space and training space. People wanting to get more flexible. There's everyone's got their own opinions around what works best, but ultimately, I think what it's been boiled down to ultimately is that all stretching is strength work. So even if you're in some kind of deep passive stretch, you are effectively doing strength work because we're in a deep range and we're having to apply some force to get in to improve that range. So it is effectively just strength work. So the way I like to kind of put that into my program so that we're not having to spend hours and hours doing flexibility work on top of all the training that we're doing is to bake it into the program. And in doing so, that means that we're going to save a lot of time. We're going to get both strength and mobility gains from the training we're doing, which means more robust joints, less chances of injury, and you're going to be better at your sport and your hobbies and stuff as well from that added mobility and strength in ranges. So in a nutshell, the point of this video is just to get the message across around how to approach these movements. So a couple of examples would be a dumbbell Romanian deadlift. So with this, I'm hinging at the hips and I'm trying to bias my hamstrings. So I'm trying to feel my hamstrings in that bottom position. I want to feel my hamstrings on full stretch tension, my glutes as well. And as we're accessing these deeper ranges with some load, that's going to improve your flexibility over time through your hamstrings. There is obviously a point where if the weight becomes too heavy, the body will push back and won't want you to go into those deep ranges with a really heavy load. So the purpose of this video is just to explain that the weight on these kind of loaded mobility exercises is to help you into deeper ranges, slightly deeper ranges than you can access passively or without weight. However, it only needs to be enough weight to get you there. You don't need to load these up super heavy. So if I went really heavy on dumbbell RDLs, I wouldn't be able to get into as deep a range comfortably. I would feel apprehension. You'd feel like you were going to cause some damage and your body would react the same way as well. So we'd have a kind of a stretch reflex where your body would shorten that range so you can't go into it with loads of weight. So the rule of thumb is the weight wants to be just enough to help you access a slightly deeper range, but not so heavy that it's going to cause you to feel stressed and feel like you're going to cause injury and it's painful. So things like RDLs, Jefferson curls is another one. So we are getting some weight through the muscles around the spine and we're getting into some deep hamstring stretch at the bottom as well. These exercises, the weight doesn't need to be any more than it's just going to help assist you to get a little bit lower than I could without the weight. So the weight is going to pull me down into that slightly deeper stretch, and that's all the weight you need. Similar things like long stand split squat is another one. If I try to load this up really heavy with a barbell on my back, I'm not going to be able to get into as deep a position than if I just had a dumbbell on my shoulders, just helping me into a little bit of a deeper range. Lat pullovers, there's loads of them in the program, but all those kind of exercises, just try and find a weight that helps you access a slightly deeper range than you could without the weight, but don't be loading them up to the point where they're becoming stressful and feeling like they're gonna cause you injury. So we want to be accessing as deep a range as possible with a little bit of weight just to assist, and that's how we want to approach those accessory exercises. Treat them as a loaded stretch as opposed to a strength exercise. You'll still get stronger doing them. You're going to have better joint health. You're going to be stronger through a bigger range of movement, which again is really good for injury prevention. But treat them as a loaded stretch versus trying to get like just focusing on strength. The classic strength pieces in the program, squat, bench, deadlift, etc. That's where you're going to load the bar up and and chase after strength. The accessory work, a lot of it is more geared towards loaded flexibility. So treat it like that and you'll get a lot more out of the program.